I thank you for allowing me part of it. Godspeed. Ladies and gentlemen, the former chairman of the Democratic Party of the United States, the former governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell.
Step there with me for a second. Step there with me for a second.
Pardon?
Step there with me for a second. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. You know, the 3,200 people who were in Ashraf before the attack in 2009 had many friends, and you've heard from many friends from America and other countries. But in America, we had a small working group of about 10 people. Governor Ridge, who you'll hear from later, General McCasey, Louis Freeh, head of the FBI, Rudy Giuliani, Howard Dean, a number of generals, General Shelton, General Casey, General Conroy, and we worked for 7 years to try to get the Ashraf people free out of Iraq. But I want you to know that there are two people who deserve extra credit from all of the group. Number one is Bob Torselli. Let the record show that Bob Torselli was our chief negotiator with the State Department, went to Albania 4 separate times, and was the one who convinced the State Department to allow all 3,000 out in rapid-fire succession. Bob Torselli deserves a great debt of thanks. He didn't do it for credit. He didn't do it for praise. He did it because, like I and like all of the small group, we became devout believers in the goodness and the talent that was in Ashraf, and we couldn't let those good people die. So let's hear it for Bob Torselli.
Thank you, everybody.
Secondly, there's someone here today who isn't going to speak tonight, but he's spoken to this gathering on a number of occasions, and he was as important as even Bob Torselli was to moving the people from Ashraf, out of Liberty to Albania, and that was Colonel Wes Martin. Colonel Martin was the glue who held our group together. He worked every single day. He worked to make sure that this happened. So those of you who don't know Colonel Wes Martin, he was a commander at Ashraf. While he was stationed there, he commanded Ashraf for several years and has been the single person who has made our efforts successful. Now, I want to talk a little bit to the people of Ashraf who are now in Albania and to all of you. This was a difficult fight. When we took over, the MEK was on the terror list. Nobody wanted to touch anybody from the MEK. No country was reaching out and saying, bring your people here. Regardless of what was happening in Iraq, nobody was willing to give them asylum. So our group got together and we worked awfully hard, day in and day out, worked with the United Nations people, worked with the State Department, and finally, we got them delisted. And by the way, just Newt Gingrich says he's a history professor and we can learn from history, so I want to mention a little history. By the way, who did that delisting? Who was the Secretary of State who did that delisting? Let the record show it was Hillary Clinton. And who did Hillary Clinton work for? She worked for President Barack Obama. Now, when the State Department helped us get 3,000 Ashrafis to Albania, Bob Torselli will tell you, and anybody who was in on that will tell you, that it was because of the work of the Secretary of State of the United States, John Kerry. And let me ask you a question. Who did John Kerry work for? Barack Obama. So let's be clear about this. The 3,000 people are in Albania because of Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, and a lot of Americans, Democrats and Republicans alike, who rolled up their sleeves and worked hard because we believed in those people. We believed in their goodness. We believed in their talent. We believed in their energy. We believed that they could be the cornerstone to building a free Iran. And now, the next step is to free Iran. And you all know down deep that regime change is up to the people of Iran. And that means you. That means the people who are in Albania. That means Iranian dissidents all around the globe. And it means Iranian dissidents in Iran, in Tehran, in all of the different cities. But the United States has to stand firm and stand behind this movement. And I believe we will. Not only will we because we do believe in freedom. And we do admire people who fight for their freedom and are willing to die for their freedom. We'll stand behind you because it's also in our self-interest. Because what will a free Iran ruled by Madam Rajavi mean to the Middle East? It'll mean peace and security. It'll mean an end to extremism. It'll mean an end to Iran being a hotbed for terrorism. It'll mean that women will no longer be persecuted. It will mean that Iranians, women and men, will have the right to vote. It means that Iran will have an open society that understands its religious heritage, but also understands that religion can't be the sole driver of the government. Those are things that are in our interest as Americans. So I want to close by telling you two things. As mayor of Philadelphia, I had the great opportunity to take a great American city that was on its back and turn its destiny around, and that was wonderful. As governor, I had the chance, by signing my name on a bill that raised the minimum wage $4,000 a year, I gave over 400,000 people a $4,000 a year raise. I put in a bill that made sure that every child in Pennsylvania was covered by health care. Every child in Pennsylvania. Those were all wonderful accomplishments. But in my public career, I have never felt a better feeling than knowing that my work and my energy somehow contributed in some small part to getting the people of Ashraf out of Iraq to safety. I've never felt prouder of anything I've done in my public career. And I want to, this was its own reward. To see those faces on the screen tonight, that's its own reward. You don't have to thank me. It's wonderful. It's a great feeling. And we are a freedom-loving people. And when Madam Rajavi went over and placed that sign near the memorial saying the price of freedom, well, in Washington Square Park in Philadelphia, there's a park called Washington Square Park. There are 2,000 dead colonial American soldiers under the ground in Washington Park. And there's a monument, and it says, "Here lies evidence that the price of freedom isn't free." We all know that. Americans died for their freedom, but so did members of the MEK. And I pledge to you today, and if Madam Rajavi is watching this on television, I want her to understand that Americans, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Americans, progressives, Tea Partyites, Americans from red states, blue states, we all stand behind her because all Americans have one thing in common. We know we fought for our freedom. We know our freedom was precious. We know it takes sacrifice. We know it takes courage. And we're behind you because you're fighting for all the same things. Thank you.